Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from three very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Deaf Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production podcast network. We hope to see you online.
Welcome to Rankin' on Bass, an offhand joke that became a podcast. I'm your host, Mike White. Joining me is a real firebug, Mr. Chris Dashew.
I prefer to be referred to as Smokey, the buzzkill.
Also with us is a very talented beaver, Mr. Richard Haddam.
Welcome to General Electric's Fantasy Hour.
On this podcast, we discuss the works of Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass, specifically stop motion and animated work. And this episode fits perfectly into that because we are visiting the world of Smokey the Bear through two productions, a 1966 Animagic production called The Ballad of Smokey the Bear, and then also 1969's TV show. Did you know there was a TV show all about Smokey the Bear? There was. It was called The Smokey Bear Show. Came out in 1969, ran 17 episodes, and we watched some of them. And we definitely watched The Ballad of Smokey the Bear. At least I hope we did. Richard, did you watch the movie this time?
Yeah, I did. I went
all right.
I checked it out.
Good deal.
Wow, that's a hell of a callback. It's been episodes since that happened. Several, in fact.
Richard, what did you think of The Ballad of Smokey the Bear, sir?
I want to start at the very, very beginning. I want to start with I want to start with a General Electric introduction. This is how TV used to be. It was, first you would have the peacock spreading its multicolored feathers and with the little NBC music, and then General Electric. And here's what I want to call out. General Electric welcoming the viewing audience to a sort of a family fantasy hour of viewing this Animagic special. And then they inform the audience of what they were. General Electric. What are the things they called out that they do? Portable home appliances. Okay. So in other words, GE, portable home appliances, clocks, health, beauty, and floor care products. It really is your top 5 things. So wait, it's health and floor care products? Done. I'm in. GE, don't say another word. I'm in. Customer for life. And then apparently also Animagic specials. So I was already charmed and enthralled when I then saw two animals fighting each other to the death. I guess there was like a bobcat and a fox or something, just ready to kill each other as they tried to, I guess, murder another forest animal for their breakfast. It was a big opening. And then what I thought was Smokey the Bear comes out. It ain't Smokey the Bear. It is Smokey's brother, Big Brother Bear.
Nameless
and
bear.
He tells us the story, right?
Oh, hi. I didn't see you. My name is Big Bear. You guys know how disappointed I was that it didn't feature that? Hey, everybody. And by the way, no amount of putting him in a bear body can change the fact that it's Jimmy Cagney doing the voice of a bear.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, it's a bear. Yeah, we know. Like, and then Smokey's mom died. What the fuck? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is like Nestor on steroids. Like, I don't even know what I thought of this. I watched it like 2 or 3 times, and each time I was like, somebody was on something when they made this. And look, I know the song existed for this, right? Because like the song,
there's a song.
There's an Eddie Arnold song called "The Ballad of Smokey Bear."
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, and so like, it's like the Rudolph thing again, where it's like we're telling the story of a thing that. What did you think, Mike?
Yeah, I have to say I'm not very familiar with the origins of Smokey the Bear, so I was, pleasantly surprised to find that it was intense childhood trauma that gave us Smokey. I was also very happy to see that there are a lot of animals that wear clothes in the forest and a lot that don't. We've got rabbits that wear jackets. We've got beavers that wear hats. But having Brother Bear come out wearing his just pants. I like to wear pants and a belt with a little kerchief in the back pocket. And I was trying to use the hanky code to find out what this bear was into, but was unable to discern that. So
Mike, he does not wear a belt. He wears a piece of rope. Okay.
Oh, a piece of rope. Oh, my bad.
He is the anthropomorphized bear of my dreams. He only wears pants and he wears a piece of string as a belt. It's so quaint and pastoral, isn't it? And then we named you after the fire that killed your friends and your mom. Hilarious, everybody. PTSD. That's not what I expected Rankin and Bass to confront, but here we are.
The character design on Brother Bear is so strange because he looks so angry all the time. Even when he's happy, he looks angry.
Yeah, he's got like those big angry eyebrows.
Yeah, just downturned the entire time.
Well, compared to like the baby bears that look so like cute and generic, like It's such a choice.
Well, it takes a while to kind of get things sorted out, so you know what journey we're going on. Because when you first see the first bear, you think, "Oh, okay, well, this must be Smokey Bear." But then it's like, oh, no, he isn't. Then his 2 children come out and they're like little bear cubs. And then for a second, I'm like, well, is one of them going to turn out to be Smokey the Bear? And then it's like, no, hold on. We're going to do a flashback to my brother. So I'm telling you a story about my brother who eventually becomes Smokey the Bear. So let's go back to when Smokey Bear was a child. And then I thought he would also be a child, but he looks exactly the same. It's like he's still the same age, but he's got a baby brother or something. So I was like, oh, wait, no, hold on. Am I getting this right? Because I expected them both to be smaller. But okay, he's the older brother. Got it. Whatever. And finally, we understand we're on the journey of, okay, I'm going to tell you about the day something terrible happened. And then, the children sit there filled with dread. It's like all we wanted to do was play.
Right.
And now we're getting some lecture about our uncle and some hideous tragedy. Okay. And we're off. we're off to a fun-filled 51 minutes.
That didn't need to be 51 minutes. It needed to be the story of Smokey the Bear, and that's it. Like, guys, at one point, if you haven't watched this yet, it's available on archive.org, which is the internet repository for things people forgot about. And they care so little about it that it's literally for free. There is a gorilla in this. At one point, there's just a fucking gorilla. Yeah. And that is the animagic touch here that I was expecting. It's funny. The first half of this, I think, is really compelling, and it kind of narratively slots itself into like all the Christmas stuff that we've talked about, where it's like, something is different about this character. Don't you want to find out why? And here's the story. And then the second half of this is the fucking White Ape movie that we watched, but just in Smokey the Bear land. Like, it's what it feels like. You have a bunch of disparate characters coming together to trap an animal that they don't understand. Who's an analog for people, by the way.
I love the whole idea of, like, he becomes a Rudolph character at one point, Smokey that is, but instead of it being, oh, you got that blinking nose going on, pal, it's, oh, you lost your family in this fire. Oh, we better not talk about fire around this guy. Ha 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 ha.
Except for the fact that we named him Smokey. Like, yes. It's like if someone got horribly had their arms cut off, and it's like, oh, your term of endearment is now Stumpy. Like, but don't mention the fire part, but we can call you Stumpy. Like, what the? This poor bear, when he comes down from the tree, looks like he saw either the face of God or whatever deity he believes in, because he's like this. And it's just like, is this for kids? Like, who the fuck is this for? Because no, I don't know how a child in 66 would respond to seeing a bear having PTSD. It's just, it's like Nestor. That's why I said it's like when Nestor's mom died. Like,
yeah.
Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck?
All of these, I mean, a lot of them, including Little Drummer Boy, including a lot of the Disney ones, are about people who lose parents, in terrible ways, either by a fire or a hunter or something. And so that childhood trauma, I'm sure no one even questioned it. And it's fine. I mean, it's there, and he's, surrounded and supported by his older brother and various benevolent forest creatures. So we're never really worried that something terrible will happen to Smokey. But once we know that he's sort of in a matrix of love and support with his forest community, now we just focus on the fact that he got really freaked out. He was up a tree. He almost died. He's afraid of fire. And then that becomes, for the second half of the special, the thing that must be triumphed over. He's got to get over his fear.
This is so clunkily written to me. And I need to go back and listen to that song. I feel very bad, Chris, that I didn't realize that there was the Smokey Bear song by Steve Nelson and Jack Rollins. But do they talk about the gorilla in there? Because it feels so slapped together. There's one point where I'm like, okay, the story,
the answer to that question, by the way.
There must have been some gorilla. This is
to make the song way better.
This is the only time that Rankin and Bass are dealing with Joseph Schrenk as the writer of their stuff. We've got really so much of this team is the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer team. We've got Larry Romer directing. He also directed parts of Return to Oz. He's directing this one. We've got Schrenk here as the writer. We're not doing the Romeo Muller thing. Like, I think we've found, gentlemen, that Romeo Muller was kind of part of the key to the magic here. We've got Johnny Marks doing the music instead of Maury Laws. These songs are okay, but they're definitely not up to the Rudolph quality. And it's one of those musicals where as soon as they start to sing, it's like there's that little pause, and I'm like, please don't turn into a song. Please don't turn into a song. And sure enough, it's like everybody gets a song in this stupid thing.
If you trust a turtle with your secret, a turtle walks slow. Hey, hey, hey. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? And on top of everything else, it's like fucking 30 seconds of a song. It's not even it's like the notion of a song that someone came up. The original Smokey the Bear song from 52 includes no mention of a gorilla. Smokey the Bear, prowling and a growling and a sniff in the air. He can find a fire before it starts to flame. That's why they call him Smokey. That was how he got his name. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the last couple lines of Smokey the Bear, the song.
Wow. Yeah. Good call there. Good detective work there,
and
Chris.
By the way, Smokey the Bear was a real bear. This actually happened to a real bear that climbed into a tree in, like, I want to say 50 maybe in New Mexico. They mentioned it in the cartoon. They're like, Smokey the Bear was a bear in New Mexico, whatever. These don't sound anything like the real songs. We have to make sure we don't get sued.
Well,
that's really what it is.
We put this up on YouTube. We get a copyright strike. That's it.
Thurl Ravenscroft and the rest of them take us down. So I'm pretty sure Thurl Ravenscroft was singing the theme song for this as well. At least there was a very deep baritone voice in the back towards some of it. Music in this is just atrocious.
So the U.S. Forest Service sort of turned Smokey the Bear into a mascot for one of their big messages, which was, prevent forest fires, which I don't know. Was this like the major issue in America in the late 50s? Was just were they the mass shootings of the day? You can't go a day without another million acres being destroyed by some irresponsible camper, because it was very much about how people were starting forest fires. And if you were going to go camping, for God's sake, make sure that fire is put out, because we're losing our forests to this.
Well, that people are idiots, right? I mean, this was that fire was it last year, the year before, caused by the gender reveal party that burned up millions of acres. People aren't sweeping the floor of the forest, and there's Smokey. He should have a broom rather than a shovel. He should be out there sweeping all the time and just making sure there are no forest fires. But people are idiots. They're going to leave their fire going, not do the proper maintenance and stuff. This was just kind of a reminder for that. It's kind of like Woodsy the Owl, give a hoot, don't pollute, because people are animals and they're leaving their shit everywhere and they're leaving it on fire.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the challenge this special had. And it came 2 years after Rudolph, but it was I get the impression it was the one put into production pretty quickly after Rudolph. So it wasn't a direct follow-up, but it kind of was the next one done in that style. And its burden is that it's not about a holiday that children love. Mm-hmm. It's basically an admonishment. And so they did everything they could to make the journey fun and to give us sympathetic characters. But, ultimately it is about, okay, so what lesson did you learn, kids? Clean up after yourself and don't let there be a forest fire or your mother's going to die.
Or that one bear that is stringing you along is going to die. Which is the weirdest character in this entire thing. Is there's like a girl bear who is
Delilah.
Antagonizing Smokey, whose name at the time is Sonny the Bear. Look what they did to my boy, right? That's all I can think of. His name is Smokey now, folks. Does she die, I guess? She never comes back after the fire. I guess it's implied that she goes into the woods and lays down to inhale God's own gas. I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's weird. She never comes back, and she gets her own song, and they interact with the Beavers, Mr. Joe Beaver, who does end up coming back. It's kind of weird. They never mention her. I guess she died.
But that's weird because they make a big deal. They specifically say the mother was lost in the fire, and they kind of try to get past that story point as quickly as possible, and then come back to modern day. And it's like, okay, now let me tell you the rest of the story and try to forget that mom's dead. I think it would have been too much if Delilah also died, but it is weird that Delilah wasn't around to sort of help frame the challenge. It's to be a voice telling Smokey, you think you're a coward, but you're not. I mean, you know the song that would go right there.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, there is no character. Like, it's weird. Smokey the Bear, because of the way they tell the story, is not a real big part of his own story. It feels like that, like, especially the second half. The first half, that it's all Smokey, but then the second half, it's like the goings on of these woodland morons. Like, because because again, like the beaver and like these are characters that I was not hoping to have to spend more time with than Smokey the Bear interacting with them. But then it becomes like all of the woodland creatures are the main focus because it's like, well, we got to figure out how to stop this gorilla from destroying the woods. It's like that's not
right.
That's not interesting. This is the
but
why don't just put people in there? Like I don't know why it has to be a gorilla.
Sure. No. Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be a person because they're like, oh man, this big ugly thing and it's tromping through here and it destroyed my dam and it did this and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like a person. But then they're showing the paw prints and I'm like, well, still look like shoe prints, but I thought that would really work with the narrative of these destructive people.
And we can't do that because you can't make the viewing audience the antagonist of the story. So you have to come up with a stand.
Antagonistic on its own? Like only you can prevent forest fires. Like isn't the message immediately antagonistic the way that they're presenting it anyways?
No, but you don't want a child's not going to want to watch a special about a bear that we're supposed to identify with and get excited about. And the enemy is people just like me, even though we get it. But if you're showing it, you're like, well, this is an even bigger bummer than it is on paper. So that, as you said, Chris, they needed a stand-in. So it's like, well, we don't want to use Homo sapiens, but we should get a primate in there to sort of represent how shitty human beings are. And it'll be reading the newspaper and smoking and acting like an asshole. So we'll put it out there, but it's also sympathetic because it just needs, it's ignorant. It's not, it's not violent. It's not like a pyromaniac. It just doesn't get it. It has to be sort of told and taught. Yeah, your actions have unintended consequences. So watch what you do and respect your woodland neighbors, which is the message they want to get out. So what are you going to do? So they end up with this thing that, again, is sort of a stand-in for the Bumble, for the, the creature that comes out of the north, that Yukon Cornelius is all excited about.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you're right, but it's still a misstep because like I don't feel like it hangs together with the first part very well. Then I liked the first part of this a lot, other than the really forced musical bits. Because I think we get 4 musical numbers, 3 or 4 before we even get to what would be considered kind of the turning point of the narrative where it's like, now we're following Barry Pearl as Smokey the Bear, who is fine. Barry Pearl's an awfully nice guy. He's in Greece. That's what I know him from. Spoke to him years. We should reach out to him. Hey, what was it like playing Smokey the Bear? If that's a thing you remember.
Get out of here.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, what a random thing to ask him about. He's like, I'm sick and tired of talking about Greece. Let me talk about that Rankin and Bass Smokey the Bear.
Oh, totally. No, if you know this guy, then absolutely. He would. Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's in Australia right now on doing convention appearances for what other? Greece, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
Having like a huge anniversary this year, I think.
Yeah.
He would talk about it.
45, might be an off year. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. I don't feel like it needed to be an hour. And I think that that's unfortunate because like they've done half an hour specials before. It's not like they were beholden to an hour. I mean, GE wanted it to be a fantasy hour, but
yeah,
it could have been 2 different things. Like could have been Smokey the Bear and
nope.
I guess there isn't anything else. I guess is Smokey the Bear like the quintessential? I guess other than like Uncle Sam, it's like Smokey the Bear, Uncle Sam, and then who else for like a quintessential American mascot?
Johnny Appleseed and Paul Bunyan.
I guess so. I guess.
Yeah, no, it had to be an hour, just like the Cricket on the Hearth had to be an hour. Because that's how much the network set aside for the Danny Thomas ABC Christmas hour.
This is better than that by leaps and bounds.
Well, it also helps that it's the animagic, and things like the whole thing with the bees I thought was very well done. The little animagic bees, and then the animation of the bee cloud coming after him, and then when the one bee's like, hey, it's this guy, and they all go after him. I thought that was very well done.
I totally agree. And it is charming. Look, it's just a very charming kind of animation, and the character design was all pleasant. This one, unlike so many that we've talked about, was not, it wasn't an eyesore. It was pleasant to look at. The production of it, I mean, there was a lot, big panoramas and rushing water at fire. I mean, it technically it sort of was, I don't know, I want to say kind of better or more advanced than Rudolph. It wasn't a step backward for sure. Let's say that.
No, I mean, outside of the music, which just, it seemed like they phoned it in. Like, I think it's a shame that they didn't do more things because like woodland animals and stuff like that lends itself to the animagic thing, I feel like. And we've seen obviously woodland animals before in, was it The Lifetimes of Santa Claus? Is that where he's interacting with all like the woodland animals? Or there's one of them where it's like this level of like creatures.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah.
Right. The Year Without the Santa Claus. I mean, there were several.
Right. But like this one, it's finally like, it's this focus on these like woodland animals, and it just happens to be Smokey the Bear. Like, I mean, almost in a lot of ways, like the fact that he's Smokey the Bear is incidental, right? Like we're telling you the story about this bear who solves problems. He becomes Smokey the Bear. Like, okay, sure. Like him being Smokey the Bear, like they don't like, because at the end it's like, well, how did he get his hat and his spade? And it's like, well, the forest rangers said good job.
Right. I love that. I love just a shot of a box. It's like, and the forest rangers heard about this. They loved it so much they sent him a hat and a shovel. Okay, great.
I mean, look, for me, like growing up in the 90s, I realize the thing that I think of when I think of these kinds of things is McGruff, the crime dog.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that I think. I mean, Smokey is kind of like a outdoorsy one. I mean, when I think of Smokey the Bear, I think of only who can prevent forest fires? You, Pressed, you. I think you mean me. The thing from The Simpsons where he's like pressing at it's one of the funniest goddamn bits in The Simpsons, but that's what I think of when I think of Smokey the Bear. I don't even think of like the ramifications of Smokey the Bear, but when I think of like the quintessential like thing for me in the 90s growing up was McGruff, which I never saw like a cartoon for McGruff. So it's kind of cool to see like what this is for, like, I guess, because this would have been for people y'all's age, right? Like theoretically.
No,
well, it was my age. Well, okay. So it was 1966. So it was the year I was born. So we can pretty much nail it down and say that this special is 56 years old.
So it's for people older than y'all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And when I was growing up, and same thing with you, Richard, I mean, like I mentioned, Woodsy the Owl, he was all about pollution. Iron Eyes Cody as that silent Indian. Owl? Yeah, who was crying about all the pollution. I mean, we had a lot of different mascots. So, and I think I saw Woodsy more than I saw Smokey personally, but I do remember the commercials for that.
Never heard of Woodsy the Owl before.
Well, Woodsy the Owl is the one who said, "Give a hoot, don't pollute."
Don't pollute, right?
So, if you know the phrase, then all you didn't know was the owl.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew the phrase. I didn't know the owl. What an interesting mascot.
Yeah,
right. But I mean, but you're right.
Nightmarish as well. Just the character design. Yeah.
There was never a cartoon about McGruff, the crime dog, where his family was murdered by thieves and punks, like in Death Wish, and then he grows up with an obsession to take up vigilante violence.
Right.
Though.
His parents went to see a Zorro movie, and this kid out in the back of the alley,
crime alley.
Yeah, exactly. And he cuts the pearl necklace off of or McGruff's mother's neck there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when Woodsy decides to become a bat.
That's right.
And instead of the name McGruff, he's actually just gave the dog Murder the Crime Dog, because Smokey, we're just going to refer to your childhood trauma in the descriptor.
Right.
Murdery the dog.
Murdery the dog. Oh my God. Hold on. I think I've got my next pilot.
Yeah, you better not write it down though. Pencils down, Richard.
Yeah.
Pencils the fuck down, motherfuckers.
I will say the thing that was the most kind of like off-putting about this entire special was the way the turtle moved. Because it...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, see? I'm glad it wasn't just me.
The hands? The hands were very strange to me, that it had anthropomorphic hands. I think there were only 4 fingers, but still, it was like, ugh. And then the way it would like swap and its head would be out one side and then would swap and come out the other side. I'm like, that's not how turtles work.
I'm glad it wasn't just me. No. Mr. Turtle is quite possibly the craziest animagic anthropomorphized thing, because he has human hands, like straight up, like one, like you said, 1 digit less, but the way he walked was like a guy on all fours walking.
Yeah.
And that's not how turtles walk. That's so terrifying.
But it was, but Turtle was sort of the like savior of the story in a way. Turtle is the one who's like, okay, look, let's cut the shit. You spend the night in the forest, listen to the trees, and then the trees. Like, again, I can't tell if this would have freaked me out as a kid, but the trees all start to whisper, apparently. Save us, Smokey.
It's like they're in Banghorn Forest. I'm like waiting for Treebeard to come out. Oh, little orc.
I'm not an orc. I'm Smokey the Bear.
We'll have to see about that. Yeah.
So he gets the message, I guess, and then when it comes time, when he goes and is, you know, like banging down the door of the old shack where the gorilla lives, and Brother Bear wants to, oh no, I got to stop him, and Turtle's like, no, don't. He's got to do this on his own. He's got this. I'm telling you, Brother Bear, he's got this. And then what he does instead, what he does, he destroys the house and sets it on fire. He causes a fire, right?
Only he can start the fires that we can prevent.
Well, you know, I mean, it's the old joke. He's the arsonist and the fireman, you know? It's like he starts a fire and then he's like, come on, grab a bucket, everyone. And they're like, well, you moron, why'd you have to knock the house down?
Don't you know, in one hand he has a shovel, in the other hand he has a lighter. It's just behind his back.
Like, okay, pyro.
Right.
Smokey the Bear. Smokey the Bear.
Man.
He's sick and tired of your shit.
Smokey the lightning, the Smokey the firebug. That's it.
Oh, well, it's better than the cartoon version of Smokey, otherwise known as Smokey the Narc.
Oh my God.
It's great. Boy, if you've got one version of Smokey in the Animagic, let's take about 30 steps back and go Mr. Right Wing Smokey, because he's not putting up with your shit. And you know what? Man. Straight to fucking jail with you. Oh my God. It's like so aggressive too. I don't understand the point, but all right.
It's so weird that it was 17 episodes. They were based on the Dell comics, you know, the real kind of cheapy comics. I remember those when I was a kid. They it was like, was that like your Richie Rich and those kind of things? It feels like they were always like the off-brand one.
Yeah.
Lil 8 Ball.
Yeah. Lil 8
Ball.
And yeah, just like strange, you know, like Bewitched, they did comic books of, and just like taking TV shows and bizarro ideas and making them into comic stories. And yeah, here we had another Toei animation style here. And you could tell as soon as this thing starts up, I was just like, okay, yeah, this is all Japanese. And I was surprised that it was even, it looked like it was done originally in English. I thought for sure that this was a Japanese cartoon they ported over. And I was just like, no, that doesn't make any sense at all.
No fire lighting bear.
Right.
The No Fire Bear Show.
Yes, exactly.
Much catchier title.
Right.
Good Lord.
A big picture of Mount Fuji in the background as they're all traipsing around. Yeah.
Right. God. This is, you know, that Smokey the Bear, Ballad of Smokey Bear is fun. This is like the tongue-clucking nonsense that I was worried that was going to be in its entirety. This is like, again, Smokey is the fucking narc. Like, I don't... Who is entertained by this? Like, who, when they were working on this, they're like, kids are going to love being spoken down to constantly, aren't they?
Well, it's weird how little... I mean, we said this about the Ballad of Smokey Bear, but the Smokey Bear Show barely has any Smokey Bear in it. He's at the beginning in the credits, and then so much of it would be... oh, here's my two quote unquote deputies. Like they basically make him the sheriff. There's a mayor character. I mean, this becomes basically a Western with Smokey the Bear as the quiet, like Gary Cooper sheriff. And so much of this is, you know, featured on like Festus and Gabby Haynes, like doing their shenanigans. And then eventually Smokey has to come and rescue him or bail him out. It's like, I don't know if you guys watched the one where the two deputies are chained together and they're just having little adventures, because I ended up like going down a rabbit hole and watching a ton of these, and they all ran together after a while.
I watched Founders Day Follies, and I watched the YouTube one and the archive.org one, and I think that there might be a different segment between the two, because The segment that I think sticks out the most that I guarantee the three of us saw is the one. Well, I guess there's probably two. The one about the Founders Day, right? And
right.
I want to do a pie eating contest. The one that goes, that's stupid. That's stupid. It's just like the most banal, stupid shit possible. But then the other one is the snake oil salesman comes to town to steal their money because he's doing a gold rush scam. Like,
oh, right, the pig, right?
Yeah, it is just like I don't understand what this show was supposed to be. It's like the Smokey the Bear, like waiting for the Donner Party to come. Like I don't. It's like they're in the high west because the pig shows up in like a wagon. It's like, hey, I'm gonna steal their money. It's very weird.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you say the high west. I mean, that snake was pretty clearly supposed to be the late 60s beatnik. You know, his eyes are just pinwheel spinning and he's like, wild man, you know. So it's like, okay, I think we get what that guy's all about, which by the way is fine. I mean, do a bold characterization. It's better than everyone else who's those characters just kind of like, all right, this is a version of a version of a version of a version of something I didn't care about 5 versions ago.
Mm-hmm. It's so like, though I would use the word boring, but I think it's just so basic and generic. Like there's not, it's like you took, it's like you went to ChatGPT and said, can you write me a cartoon about Smokey the Bear? And it would be like, yeah, Smokey the Bear is a sheriff in a town of animals. Like, there you go. Like it's shockingly lazy. And I'm with you, Mike. I watched it several times, several different episodes, and it's all the same. Like there's Smokey shows up at the beginning and the end of the episodes to essentially chastise everybody for being stupid. And he's like, well, I guess I was like, Smokey, you left the hands of your town. You left your town in the hands of these morons. That does reflect poorly on you, Smokey the Bear. It's weird because when it's baby Smokey or like child Smokey, it's actually kind of cute and fun. But when it's like adult Smokey, it's not. I don't think it's entertaining at all, frankly. It's like I could go watch any other cartoon that has these similar things and it'd probably be better than this without the inherent jingoism of Smokey the Bear.
Okay, I'm gonna say something right out because we've been doing this show for a while and we've seen a lot of their stuff and we've seen a lot of their attempts at sort of Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, this is like, you know, several leagues below Hanna-Barbera, which for my money was several leagues below Looney Tunes, but okay. I got to just say right out, I get the feeling their hearts were not into these Saturday morning style cartoons. That I don't think they honestly, as creative people, had much interest in it. I think it was seen as, well, it's a thing to do. And apparently there's an hour of programming that needs to be provided, you know, and they came to us and they're going to pay us. So somebody hire someone who knows what that is and go do it. And who knows, maybe the kids will like it. But like the Animagic specials are charming because maybe it's just that style of animation seems so inspired and characters come to life. And it seems like someone gives a shit. And I think that's what we're sensing in a lot of these. But this one is a real good example of a lack of giving a shit about telling a story, being engaging, being entertaining, having just a new approach to that strata of entertainment. And it's not like, I mean, again, and there was a lot of shit. Saturday morning cartoons, 99% garbage. But then the ones that had even the slightest spark of creativity are ones that we still know. So, you know, I don't know.
I get the distinct feeling anyone whose parents were alive in 66, their parents' tax dollars probably helped pay for this. Because this feels like something that's like coming from the US government paying them to do this. I mean, it has to. I mentioned the jingoism, but like in a lot of ways, let's not kid ourselves. Smokey the Bear is a product of the US Forest Service, which is paid for by public tax dollars. So they're spending money on a Smokey the Bear show, is my point. And like at the end of the Smokey the Bear cartoon, they go, "We're gonna have to turn you over to the U.S. Marshals." Like, whoa, what? Like that's such a weird thing to bring up in a children's cartoon about like criminal wolves that are stealing your food. They need to go deal with the U.S. Marshals. It's just there's some stuff in this that feels like, again, he's clucking his tongue at you real hard, and that again, like that. I have a distaste for the government, and that's where that comes from, is just like speaking down to you because you're stupid. And I get people are stupid, but this feels like a cartoon with a purpose too, like a intent, right? Like better than
well, yeah, I mean,
teach a lesson.
Unfortunately, the character of Smokey the Bear isn't a fun character. It's a character who is basically warning you about something terrible all the time,
right?
And blaming you and putting it on you. It's like, look, I'm an animal. Will you please not kill me? Could you please not murder all my friends?
Right.
Thank you. Have a good one.
I do wonder, though, could Smokey not be the best one to prevent forest fires, given that he's imminently always prepared to do so? Given that he has a shovel, he always has a shovel.
Chris, no, because oh my God, you have learned nothing. You've learned nothing.
What if he and the rest of the bears, who are also anthropomorphic, got together to stop the fires? I'm just asking.
No,
I'm just asking questions here, folks.
No, okay. Okay. Now I'm the scold. The point isn't putting out forest fires. The point is preventing them in the first place.
Correct.
What is he going to do? He and his guys are going to walk around the forest spraying flame retardant chemicals on everything? No, he's there to tell you, don't cause a problem. Yes, if I have to, I will solve that problem. How about you cut me some slack and not cause the problem in the first place because my mother died?
You're right. It wouldn't have played as well if it had shown the U.S. government indiscriminately bombing the forest with flame retardant that then hurt the way that the bears were born, right? That wouldn't play nearly as well as this does, is what you're saying.
The bear that's just got a flipper, instead of a fully formed arm.
Right. Thalidomide bear, yeah.
Smokey the Bear suing the U.S. government.
Right. Yeah, Smokey the thalidomide bear.
Yeah.
We call you Sally the thalidomide bear.
Yeah.
God. Oh, there's just the flashback Smokey you see in his eyes, just the flame retardant being dropped. Just
the
anything's better
of Mr. Turtle.
Yeah, right. Anything is better than this cartoon. I was so just put off by what Smokey stands for in this cartoon. It was so upsetting. Like, he's so boring and mean to everybody.
Yeah, but again, I think it was that feeling of when within 5 seconds I'm watching and I just had this sort of sinking sort of oh, it's like all the others.
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was so reminded of things like all the Terry Toon stuff, like Deputy Dog and the Mighty Heroes, and just that kind of real cheap animation. That's what this felt like. It was just somebody crapping it out and very interchangeable stories. I mean, you could basically take any other character and put them in place of Smokey Bear, and it would be the exact same cartoon.
And it's Toei. I mean, look, Toei is still around now. Toei is still in business. Toei is working on One Piece and Super Dragon Ball and all kinds of stuff. And they've been around, since before this. This feels very much like hey, you're paying us because it's probably cheaper than doing it yourself. And because we know they had a relationship. I mean, again, they had a working relationship. I honestly think the big takeaway, at least from the things that we've seen that Toei works with Rankin on, Rankin brings Toei's quality down with the level of projects that they're asking them to work on. Toei is a really well-known Japanese production house for animation, and this is reflective of their style. That's it. All the characters look American through a Japanese lens. I think that's the nice way of putting it. They all look very samey, but that's it. There's nothing else. It doesn't have that flair that the Japanese cartoons that Toei was producing at the time. They were just well, you want this to be boring? Fine, I guess.
Right. Well, Animagic, you see that, you immediately think Rankin Bass. I mean, it's just boom, instantly. What they didn't do was also develop a very distinct cell animation style that will always be associated with them, that they could have then, every single thing they did could have been in that style. and it could have been engaging, it could have been beautiful, it could have been interesting, or at least distinctive. And then you would know every time you saw it, in the same way that you know the other, you'd go, oh my God, that's a Rankin Bass cartoon, the way you do know some others. And they could have done that, and they didn't, because it's not like this style was consistent with every other one. There were other equally unengaging and ugly styles that they cribbed from other people. It just, I don't know. It's just when they've scaled such heights in one form, it just makes it more disappointing that they it appears that they fumble creatively in another area. That's all.
Well, and this is the last time they worked with Toei on an animated TV series. They would then shift to a couple other companies that they would work with, Mushi Productions and Hollis and Bachelor. But this is the last time they work with Toei too. So maybe Toei
work with them on Cricket on the Hearth as well.
Oh, I'm just talking about like on TV series, like
on
like series that would like were a bigger ask than just one cartoon. Like I wonder if like, because again, we just talked about on the last episode, Reluctant Dragon and Mr. Toad. That was Mushi Production. That wasn't Toei. Because I mean, again, like that had its own unique, distinct style that, I mean, again, thinking about it now, like, man, that talk about how good that looked compared to this. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
But I think even my criticism of that would make complete sense on this. Like, it's just, to what end? Like you said, like so much of these cartoons just feel like, especially in the 70s, again, I can only speak for the cartoons I watched in the 90s and then things I've seen since as an adult. It seemed like maybe in the 80s and the 90s, people were actually putting effort into creating quality content for kids. And I know that that's a huge discussion now in 2023 of like kids are being given entertainment that actually is engaging, that can be entertaining and educational and all those things at once and doesn't have to just be one or the other. That was not the case in the 70s. Like, and before then. And again, like if not for the fact that people wanted it to be that way, it might still be that way. Who knows? But this is coming also at a time where it's like nobody cared anyways. So fucking throw this shit out there and see. Because again, like how does a show like this run for 51 episodes? Like it's just, that's a lot. Or I guess 17 episodes with 51 segments. That's still a lot. Like 17 episodes is not nothing.
Right. It's a season, you know, right. It ran for a year. It's like, okay, well, we did it, you know, and there was no outcry for us to keep doing it. So we stopped.
Well, and it was 17 episodes, but there's so many segments within each episode. That's one reason why I felt like I was having a fever dream while I was watching this, because it was, you know, a couple of them were 5 minutes, and then there is maybe a 10-minute one. They seemed very quick, some of these episodes, because it was almost like a one-panel cartoon.
Yeah. Well, and some of the ideas, like the one where the pig comes and sells them gold land, like the joke goes on for 10 minutes past the first minute. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't know how you could take the idea of like the people from Blazing Saddles, these like moron townspeople, and screw it up, other than the fact that you can't make the same jokes for kids that you can for adults. So there you go. Like, I don't know, like the West feels like a really weird time to make things for kids, because a lot of the really good stuff in the Old West inherently cannot be approached by children, because like it's a lot of like people being shot and killed in the middle of the streets. Like it's just,
so you're inherently looking for like not Deadwood for kids, right?
Right. It's just there. I don't feel like there's an easy way to do it. Kind of like medieval times, right? Unless you have like fantasy with dragons and stuff. If you have like people fighting with swords and cutting each other's arms and legs off, like that's not for kids inherently. So unless it's like King Arthur and dragons. So it's just weird. I don't know. Smokey the Bear is also weird because again, it's a literal bear that got burned. Like, what the fuck, guys? It's like in Lincoln, we have a thing called Josh the Otter, and it's like a local mascot, and it exists because a local kid, and it's a terrible story, you know, parents didn't have the pool locked up right, kid got into the pool, kid drowned. And now we have a character called Josh the Otter, who is, again, Smokey the Bear adjacent as far as I'm concerned. It's a mascot with a purpose of like, make sure your pools and things are locked so your kids don't wander in there and drown, which is horrifying. And obviously it's a thing that needs to be brought to light, but I wouldn't think they'd be doing a Josh the Otter cartoon, because what is that going to be? Like, it's just a weird way to do things when you're like making a cartoon, because it's like Smokey the Bear should just be a PSA, like just like a 45-second thing, and that's it. It can be a cartoon, but it doesn't need to be like a story where Smokey is interacting with people because he has no character whatsoever in either one, really. He's just kind of there to say, only you can prevent forest fires. Like, that's it.
We have Josh the Otter out here in LA too. My understanding it's a young man with no body hair, but that's all. I haven't got any more information on it.
Oh boy, I'm glad you made that joke. I'm glad you were the one who made it, not me.
Yeah, well, it feels like maybe Josh the Otter and Smokey the Bear might get along sometime. Just depends on what they're into.
Took us all the way home, baby.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think you might be onto something.
They might be onto one another. Careful. I hope whoever manages the Rankin and Bass Wikipedia is happy with our coverage of the Smokey the Bear Show and the Ballad of Smokey Bear.
Hey, you know what? Rankin Bass Wiki, why this episode? Thank you.
Yeah.
But why not call out like either all of them or some of the ones where we're more positive about the product? I mean, look, we're glad you're beating the drum for us at this late date, but I'm telling you, we were all really impressed and we all felt very, great about seeing our names in print. Yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry.
So Chris, what are you up to these days, sir?
Podcasting and just podcasting with you and Richard here on Rankin on Bass and so many other great shows on the Weirding Way Media Network, including but not limited to, Mike, your show, The Projection Booth, a movie podcast where you learn about movies and you're entertained at the same time. And Richard's wife has a great show called 80s TV Ladies, where her and her co-host Sharon talk all about, well, it's right there in the title, TV shows from the 80s starring ladies. And Richard is there from time to time, too. So if you want to hear the three of us, that's where you can go, weirdingwaymedia.com. What about you, Richard? Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me on Twitter, but if you track me down on Twitter nowadays, what you're mostly going to hear about is me and every other writer in Hollywood being on strike. The nice part about it is you can find ways to reach out. There's people all across the country who are interested in this labor dispute and in their own personal lives also are fighting for a living wage, which is what we're doing here out in Hollywood. So if you want to, jump on the writer Twitter, look for the hashtag WGA Strong or WGA Strike, find out what the issues are, and find out how you can help out no matter where you live.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Abby Stabby for our artwork, as well as the Great Octopus for the music. Be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. We will be back next month with a look at the enchanted world of Danny Kaye, the Emperor's New Clothes. Until then, be sure to rate and review the podcast wherever you get it. Tell your friends, tell your family, and please stay weird.